Oh, I know what room we are. I mean, I know what scene we're not skipping, so let's just get this over with. We remain in the compound. But it's why me? Why me? I feel like if I were to go with him, I would only be a burden. Why did he choose me? I can't stand the thought of getting in someone's way and being the reason something bad happens.
足手まといといえども、人数には変わりませんよ。
Son on Son responded while giving me a cold gaze.
伝令に向かう途中、他の老師に足止めされるかもしれません。それ以外にも徴収側の隠蔽が存在する可能性もあります。もし伝令の道中に敵と遭遇したのなら、土方君との合流も遅れてしまうでしょう。
Son on Son finished with a soft smile I hadn't seen him used for weeks.
さて、私の言いたいことはわかりますか？
はい。自分が長州遠平の足止めを行い、最悪は彼女だけでも土方隊に合流させようと。
What? I sounded as if they were suggesting if things went badly, Yamazaki would sacrifice himself.
あ、もちろん山崎君が失敗するとは思っていませんよ。我々には人手が足りず、君には仕事が多い。会津藩や諸子大への連絡も担ってもらわねばなりませんから。
That would have Yamazaki running all across Kyo. I suppose it really drove home just how thin the Shinsengumi was stretched. There's no other person that could do this job? What about Shimada? Shimada is another Shinsengumi spy who was trusted enough with knowledge of my situation. Son shook his head. The Shinsengumi need every single member they can get, and Shimada was with the Shikoku team. Which means that apart from Yamazaki, I was the only one who could possibly serve as a messenger at the moment.
確か雪村君だったな。護身程度の術なら身につけていると聞いたが。
I do.
残念ながら君の安全は保証できない。それで構わないというのであれば、俺に同行してくれ。
If I tried to run away while we were out, I had no doubt that he would kill me without hesitation. This mission is his priority, not my life. Even so, I'll go. I can take care of myself. You don't need to worry about me. Son gave a small smile. I knew he wanted to join the battle more than anyone, but we both knew that wasn't possible. The least I could do was carry out my mission.
では、総長命令、しかと承りました。
He bowed then as he stepped out of the room and turned to me.
全力で俺についてこい。
And off we go. Hi, Yamazaki, you should go. We've seen this stream before. We've seen this 3 times. And now we gotta choose who we go with, and we stay with Hijikata, which we have seen. And we're gonna keep on skipping. Alright. Now we should be at the part where the new stuff happens. July! End of July 1864. Weeks passed since the Battle of the Ikedaen. In the meantime, the Shinsengumi grew stricter during their rounds to arrest the numerous outlaw ronin that escaped from the Ikedaen. Rumors surfaced of extremists who were plotting to exact revenge on the Shinsengumi. Additionally, there were also problems occurring with warriors spanning from other domains, making things tense around the headquarters. Things were finally settling down. As a result of my efforts during the battle, they grew more I need to stretch. They grew more encouraging of my involvement. The Shinsengumi allowed me to sweep the area in front of the headquarters on my own. One day, I was cleaning the courtyard with a broom when I heard gentle footsteps approaching me.
すみません。こちらが新選組の豚書ですか?
The voice came from behind me, so I was caught off guard when answering. Didn't I meet you the other day?
こんにちは。お茶屋さん以来ですね。
I met him on the first day I was allowed to leave the Shinsengumi compound. This was the mysterious samurai that helped me while I awaited Hijikata-san's return at the tea shop. I appreciate your help the other day.
いいえ、大したことではありませんでしたから。それより、元気そうで何よりです。
Now that I remember it, this man called me by my name when I encountered him. But I never learned his name. I remember Hijikata-san scolded me for not knowing his name, so I brought up the question. I'm so sorry for never asking your name despite you saving me. Is it alright if I get your name? His eyes twinkled kindly before he spoke, and I sensed a faint melancholy in his voice.
僕は伊庭八郎です。
Ah, Iba Hachiro. What a pretty name. I have to tell Hijikata-san later. So, how may I help you today, Iba?
ええ、実は
Iba kept stealing a glance towards the base. I assumed his business was with the Shinsengumi. When I first met him, Iba defended a tea shop keeper from Takeda. In this encounter, Takeda proudly declared himself as a warrior of the Shinsengumi. I slowly suspected Iba intended to visit and inform the leaders about the incident. Hijikata-san showed up suddenly as if he telepathically knew I was speaking to someone. Oh, Hijikata-san, this man is... Before I could finish my sentence, the man ran towards Hijikata-san.
あ、やっぱりトシさん、八郎です。お久しぶりです。
おめえは八郎か。なんだってこんなところにいるんだ。
When Hijikata-san realized who it was, his eyes grew wide.
驚きました。幕命で教視察に来てるんです。それより新選組って本当にトシさんたちのことだったんですね。この目で見るまでは信じられなかったけど、おめでとうございます。本当に侍になれたんですね。
おい、冷やかすなよ。まだ扱いは浪人と同じなんだからよ。
でも侍になりたいって夢が叶ったじゃないですか。
冷やかすなって言ってんだろ。
Don't mock the man!
いいえ、江戸じゃ泣く子も黙る新選組といったらとても有名なんですよ。それに池田屋の話も聞いています。皆さんとてもご活躍だったみたいですね。
ま、ぼちぼちってところだ。
No. How very unlike himself. Hijikata-san seemed to be flustered and his cheeks were rosy. The repertoire suggests they've known each other for some time. Were they good friends? I still needed to tell Hijikata-san that Iba was a samurai who came to my aid at the tea shop. Once I verified the conversation, I'd come to a halt. I read that so wrong! Once I verified the conversation and come to a halt, I mustered the courage to speak to Hijikata-san. Hijikata-san? This was the young gentleman who helped me from Takeda the other day at the tea house. Hijikata-san furrowed his eyebrows.
ほう、そうだったのか。こいつが迷惑をかけたっていうか、余計なもんを見せちまったようだな。
たまたま通りがかっただけです。それに私仕事中でしたから、どこにも報告はしていません。
そいつはすまねえな。まあ立ち話もなんだ。中に入ってくれ。
Ichikatsu-san looked uncomfortable offering anyone any sort of kindness, but he looked at Iba warmly. Now we go inside and have some tea. Well, I bring tea to them at least. I took tea to the two in the hall. Ichikatsu-san told me to remain there, so I decided to listen in. Because there's nothing else that we can really do.
今日に来たのは幕命って言っていたな。何の仕事で来たんだ。
今は奥詰め役を務めています。
An okuzume? I listened intently, but subtly, since I was unfamiliar with the contents of their conversation.
こいつは幕府直参の旗本で、奥詰めっていうのは将軍の身辺を守る奴らのことだ。
Oh, wow. I'm honored to meet such a man.
いえいえ、そんなことありません。父の仕事の縁でたまたまなんです。
But what would bring a man of his stature here, Ichikata-san? This man Iba was someone who worked directly with the shogun. What an honor. It made no sense why he would interact with the Shinsengumi or why he had business with us.
ああ、お前の考えてることはわかるぜ。なんで俺と知り合いかってことだろう。
I did my best to nod without offending him.
こいつはな、旗本であると同時に江戸じゃ4本指に入る道場の一つ、新行東流伊庭道場の跡取り息子だ。その伊庭道場と俺たちがいた道場とはそこそこ交流があってな。その縁だ。
ええ、そうなんです。だからトシさんたちがいる今日に来ることになって、とても楽しみにしていたんです。
Iba's what? Brain? What are you reading? Iba's eyes shined with adoration, but Ichikata-san scoffed and rolled his eyes.
勝手に喜んでろ。だが覚えとけよ。今日はそんなに楽しいところじゃねえからな。
はい、肝に銘じておきます。でもそんなに危険なのに女の子でも大使が務まるんですか？
Iba glanced at me when he asked this question before looking to Ichikata-san. I gasped and cupped my hands over my mouth, and Ichikata-san's eyes darted towards me sternly. It would seem Iba picked up on the fact I was female, judging by their interaction.
もしかして秘密だったんですか？
I didn't want to confirm any answers, so I stared towards the mat underneath without speaking.
彼女が女の子なのは初めて見た時から気づいていました。彼女のせいじゃありません。
わかってる。見るやつが見りゃわかることだ。
Hijikata-san looked resigned towards Iba inside.
こいつはちょいと訳ありで預かってて、表向きは男ってことになってる。新選組でも一部の奴らしか知らないことだ。だからここでも下手なことを口にしないでくれ。
わかりました。その訳、僕が聞いてもいいですか？
ああ、こいつの親父が行方不明でな、捜査に協力してもらっている。
行方不明って、もしかして雪村光道さんがですか？
How did he know everything? When he mentioned my father's name, the hairs on my neck stood up. How do you know my father's name? I guess Ichikata was also shocked by his knowledge, and he looked dubiously towards Iba.
ちょっと待て。なんでこいつの親父が行動さんだって分かったんだ？
それはすごい昔のことですが、雪村診療所に行ったことがあるんです。僕のこと覚えていませんか？
Iba asked timidly, and it finally clicked for me. If Iba had visited my father's clinic, then that explains why he would have known my name and my father. No matter how hard I tried, however, I couldn't recall his face or name from memory. Sorry for not remembering. I'm really sorry for not remembering you. Iba's expression seemed a little disappointed by my response.
まあ小さな頃のことですから覚えていなくて当然ですよ。
But I remember you now.
ありがとう。では改めてよろしくお願いしますね。
The smile was so contagious I couldn't help myself from smiling in response.
おい、客人に向かって今度はちゃんと覚えますじゃねえだろ。
Hey! Let me say what I want to comfort him! Hijikata, stop being a third wheel.
いいですよ。それに彼女が忘れないうちにまたすぐ来ますから。
はあ？何言ってやがる。お前は来なくていい。
そう言わないでくださいよ。同じ江戸出身のよしみじゃないですか。
Iba drew Hijikata in closer in a jovial manner, and Hijikata-san blushed at the notion. Hijikata is normally really uptight, so seeing him behave this way was startling. I had a lingering suspicion that Hijikata-san was actually enjoying himself. And here comes the boys!
おいおい、八郎じゃねえか。
聞いたことがある声だと思ったらお前だったのか。
新八さん、原田さん、それに皆さんもお久しぶりです。
そうか、お前も今日に来たのか。武者修行か、それとも狂犬物か。
I think it's official business. But I think we're okay to fast forward, but I'll let it play.
なわけねえし、お偉いさんの護衛とか視察なんだろ。
まあ、はい、そういうところです。
He can't say anything.
あんたが今日に来るとなるとそれなりの職務に就いたということか。
Iba nodded plainly in response.
ふん、君も今日に来たんだ。ま、死なない程度に気をつけなよ。
Shut up, Okita.
助言ありがとう。覚えておきます。
じゃあ今度飲みに行くか。なんなら今からでもいいんだぜ。
Each of the captains surrounded Iba and exchanged words. Most of all, Iba seemed lost in the amount of fun he had while conversing with everyone. I guess he really knew everyone back in Edo. Hijikata-san watched their interaction with warmth in his eyes and muttered.
あいつは旗本で伊庭道場の跡取り息子のくせに何が気に入ったのか知らねえが俺たちとつるみやがってな。
He seemed to be especially fond of Hijikata-san, though. But I couldn't dare say that.
まあちょっとした顔なじみだ。訪ねてきたら中に通してやってくれ。
Before we knew it, evening had come and Iba told us it was time for him to depart.
では、江戸に戻ったら、行動さんのことを聞いてみます。
言っておくが、その件は内密にしてくれ。
わかりました。 誰にも口外しません。
As we exchanged goodbyes, the warriors returned from their afternoon rounds. One of them seemed to take notice of us, and he rushed over while shouting.
お前はあの時の何をしにここに来た？
Of course it was fucking Takeda! It was Takeda, glaring at Iba angrily and demanding answers.
何を言ってるか分かりませんが、あなたとは初めてお会いすると思います。
私を愚弄するつもりか？貴様、名を名乗れ。
僕は幕府直参旗本大番士奥詰役伊庭八郎と申します。
幕府直参奥詰伊庭、あの伊庭道場の？
はい。今日に所用があって参りましたので、旧知である司令官の皆さんへ挨拶に寄ったところです。
挨拶などと嘘をつくな。先日のことを告げに来たのだろう。
あくまで挨拶に来ただけです。それとも先日のこととやらを思い出した方がいいでしょうか。
He has the angry eyes. Iba's eyes sharpened directly at Takeda, and the latter stopped his pacing and deepened his voice.
それはあなたがそう言うならそれでいいでしょう。私は失礼する。
Takeda seemingly snapped into shape, speaking with a semblance of respect before storming off. Iba seemed relaxed despite everything. Everyone suddenly stood still, and I was afraid of another incident, so I sighed once Takeda left.
トシさん、今の方は
5番組組長の武田官流祭だ。先日の茶屋の話は雪村から聞いてる。悪かったな。お前に迷惑はかけねえようにする。
僕は大丈夫ですが、この子の方を気にかけてあげてください。一緒にいたのがバレたら大変そうです。
Yeah, that won't end well at all.
ああ、わかった。
それじゃあまた会いに来ますね。
Oh. Did he mean he's coming to see me? Did he just mean he was visiting the headquarters? I couldn't respond since I was unsure, and Iwa smiled to me with his twinkling eyes. His face seemed reluctant, if not a little forlorn, and he left the compound. I stared at him as he walked into the distance, until his small figure was removed from my eyes. Iba was a mysterious person. Even if he was someone very important and upper class, he acted with integrity and kindness, commanding a lot of respect from the captains of the Shinsengumi. I do not think there was a samurai like him in the shogunate.